Stand by to receive orders. Wipe out enemy fighters.
That sounds like it could be a lot of fun. We might also try using some special attacks to defeat our enemies quickly, and maybe use our shield to protect ourselves. What kind of evasive maneuvers should we try? Should we fly in a zigzag pattern? Or try some barrel rolls? Well, different situations call for different evasive maneuvers. But in general, it's best to be as unpredictable as possible. Zigzagging and barrel rolls are good options, just try to not be too repetitive in your movements. It's also helpful to vary your speed, sometimes going faster, and other times slowing down. Also pay attention to where your enemy is shooting and avoid those areas. Ultimately, it depends on the game and what special abilities or weapons your ship has. But the main thing is to never let them catch you off guard. Good advice! One more question, what do we do if the enemy ship catches up to us anyway? Our evasive actions only slowed them down, but they are still right on our tail. Any ideas for what we should do next to save ourselves? Ah, Star Wars Arcade. Cool. So, let's say you're playing as Luke Skywalker piloting his X-Wing starfighter. And you've got a group of enemy TIE fighters hot on your tail. You already and try to get them to crash into each other, or maybe even hit some asteroids. That's a good idea. Tight turns and obstacles can be good options if we have them available. But what if we're out in the open with no nearby asteroids or other obstacles to hide behind? Any other ideas for shaking those pesky TIE fighters? Sure. If there are no nearby asteroids or other obstacles to help us out, then we could try some countermeasures. Like in Star Wars Arcade, we have some proton torpedoes to fire at our chasers. Maybe if we shoot a few of those at them, we could slow them down and give us some breathing room. We could also try just going full speed and heading in one direction. If we go fast enough and outspeed the enemies, they could have a hard time catching up with us and eventually break off the pursuit. Good call. Proton torpedoes and speed are great options to try when we don't have other obstacles nearby. But what about if we're in a tight spot against a larger starfighter, like the Millennium Falcon? What kinds of evasive maneuvers can help us out in that situation? Good question. For a larger ship like the Millennium Falcon, we might be able to take advantage of its maneuverability to try and outturn or outspeed our enemies. For example, we might try to bank hard towards one side, and then immediately cut back towards the other, creating an S shape that could help us lose or confuse the enemies chasing us. Additionally, we could try a corkscrew maneuver where we fly in a circular pattern that allows us to keep our sights on the enemy, without exposing our own weak areas for the enemy to shoot at. Good ideas! Using the Millennium Falcon's maneuverability could help us get out of some tricky situations. But what if these techniques still don't work? What if we are still being chased, maybe even surrounded? Do we have any last resort options to shake off the enemy ships? Sure. So, let's say we were playing Star Wars Arcade again. You and your fellow rebels are flying in your X-Wings, defending the rebel base from Imperial Wtih Ai fighters. The game starts, and you instantly feel the tension as you hear the roar of the TIE's engines and sound of their blasters. They close in on you quickly and start firing blasts at your ship. You swerve sharply to the side to avoid one of the blasts, but just as you do that, another blast hits your shield.